I know that I've left messages and responded to notes and inquiries in different groups about dreams, how do you remember them? And my advice has always been, to keep a book by your bed with a pen before you go to sleep and set the intention to remember your dreams. And you can easily do this after you practiced it a couple of times by saying, I'll tell you what I do. I say, I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams, and I will write them down. I will write them down. I will not analyze. And I repeat that a couple of times so that it also goes into my subconscious to realize that I have set that intention to, as soon as I get an image or a message of some type, to realize it. So I'd have to have some level of consciousness while I am in that dream state for it to suddenly snap in so that I can, realize that I'm dreaming and quickly write it down, grab my book, write it down. Now, I don't turn on the overhead light. I don't turn on the lamp. I usually keep like a small light next to the bed because I notice that whenever I turn on the overhead light or the lamp, it wakes me up even more. This is all connected to your circadian rhythms that are in your body. The same thing with when it starts getting dark at night, you start getting tired. All right, so the same thing, it works similarly, with the darkness when you're sleeping. Okay, now another major thing to remember when you want to, when you want to write down your dreams, as soon as you realize that you were dreaming, don't move around too much. Don't move around too much, because when you do, it shakes up that chemical. And you have to correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's a DMT chemical that is in your brain that starts to wake you up. And then just keep in mind, whatever is happening in your subconscious, your conscious mind is not designed to process all of that, because a lot of those messages will be symbolic. I'm starting to sweat because I turned off my fan because it's noisy when I'm trying to record. But your conscious mind is not designed to process all of that. And that's why when you start to wake up, you start to forget a lot of what was there. So what I've kind of trained myself to do at this point, is to not move my body too much, keep everything as close as possible, reach for my book, my journal, my pen, and my little tiny light that I have. I do wear glasses, but in an instance, I have enough time to grab that book, that pen, and that tiny light. And a lot of times when I'm writing, I'm kind of like this, barely, because, and when I do that, I'm kind of looking through my eyelashes a little bit. And that actually for me works, because if I don't do it, I'll start to analyze what I'm writing, and I'll start to add in little filler words, and I'll start trying to, write complete sentences. It gets pretty funny. All right. Another thing I want to tell you to do is make sure that you go back and read those messages again. All right. So to remember your dreams, don't move around too much when you realize you're dreaming, and all this takes practice. 2, keep your book and your pen by your bed with a small light if you can. And then number 3, go back and read over your messages occasionally. What I've started doing now is going back the last 30 days. Every, maybe a couple times every month, I'll go back and look about 30 days. And I'm starting to see a little pattern. All right, so remember, when you initially write down these messages, you won't always know or understand everything that you're writing. I don't always remember everything or understand everything. Now, what you're trying to do is you're trying to perceive what message is being sent to you. Now, you're not always going to understand it. So some of my messages are maybe an image that I'm going to see on TV the next week. Sometimes it is a message that is actually happening in the real world 30 days from now. I've gotten the notification, which is funny for me, is I got the notification, a time clock image digitally in my mind, hours before the inauguration was to start. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I guess my subconscious or higher self really wanted me to hear that message. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, go back and go through those messages. So that's what I actually did today. I went back through a couple of my messages. There were some words in there and I'm like, what does that mean? You know, like there was a word like plasticides or something. And I'm like, when I initially wrote it, I had no idea. But when I looked it up today, I was in a completely different state of mind and I actually found something. All right, so now you're interpreting these messages. Now, a lot of time, yes, you need to sit quietly in meditation so that you can get an additional message. Because you can always ask, can you give me more information on that? Don't say the word. Don't say be more clearer. Don't say the word clear, because when I did that once, the whole image disappeared. So ask for the message to be clarified. All right. And that works for me. I've gotten more information maybe a couple of days later. During meditation, I've asked for the same thing. All right, how to define. All right, so you'll be able to get that from yourself. Your inner self will be able to get that information. You can also look up different dictionaries, use different search engines. A lot of you probably like to use Google. I would suggest that you also try Bing as well. I found some other esoteric hard to find or not most popular information out there on Bing as well. That's actually where I found the plasticides, and I thought that was interesting. It's either plasticides or plasticides. And it was something about, I was thinking about something about my body one day, and it gave me the answer in that. So what it was talking about for me there was, what to do about, pain in my knee, for example. So just keep in mind too that whatever questions you have in your waking state, the answers will be given to you in your sleep state. All right. So that's why I say go back and read everything. And I know this video is getting a little long and I'm going to end it now. So if you lost my points, just make sure that practice writing in your dreams, practice realizing that you are dreaming, keep your materials by your bed, and then you can define them over time by going back and looking over them. Sometimes they will mean something big that you were trying to figure out in your waking state. Sometimes it may be just a simple number for you to look up. And that reminds me, if you're getting numbers in your dreams and you're not able to figure out what the numbers mean, sorry, that's a little brush. I'm in the kitchen. The numbers, use Joanne's Sacred Scribes, the Angel Numbers website. It is a huge index of numbers. It is a huge index, and she's the only one that does that. There's no other, I don't think there's an actual Facebook page, but I'm not sure. But I've used that ever since I discovered it. I've used it for years now. It's very reliable, and I see that she makes updates. All right, so I'm not giving you, this is no medical advice. I am a spiritual counselor that does tarot card reading, and I'm sharing my experiences. Seriously, try some of the things that I mentioned to you. And much luck to you, but come back and tell me in the comments, how it's worked for you over the next couple weeks. Come back and tell me if any of this worked for you, because it worked for me. Okay, thank you for listening and watching. Have a wonderful day and an amazing week. Bye.